Hi everyone, it's Lewis here. Guess who downloaded Danny's audio to listen to this podcast and edit it and make it perfect and amazing, only to discover that Danny's been on the wrong microphone the entire time? Who knew? I know now, and it makes me very sad. Rest assured, Danny has been publicly shamed and humiliated, and it will not happen again. We apologise for the very poor audio quality on Danny's end. I can only say sorry. So sorry. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for listening. Bye. Hey Danny, how you doing, man? Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know if that's strict Russian.
Neither do I. I mean, it sounds the melody. That's essentially the Russian national anthem. So
No. It's the Soviet Union national anthem, Lewis.
Is it? I didn't realise it had changed.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that kind of checks out, doesn't it? If the Soviet one was like, "We love Stalin," and then Stalin dies, and they're like, "Well, I mean, we can't really have that one anymore."
Yeah, that's it. Because actually, after Stalin died, the guy who took over after him, as we see in this film, Nikita Khrushchev, actually stood in the halls of Commons, I think it's called, and just basically said, "Yeah, Stalin was pretty shit, and yeah, it's good that he's gone now, so we can, do some nice stuff a wee bit." So,
lovely.
Yeah. I'm paraphrasing again.
Just imagining Steve Buscemi, aka Khrushchev, just stood in the halls of commerce. Is that what you said?
Commons, I think. I don't know.
Halls of Commons. I suppose that makes sense for the whole Soviet thing. But yeah, the halls of Commons, and going, "Yeah, you know that Stalin? Yeah, he was a bit shit, wasn't he?
He was a bad egg."
Oh God, how you doing today, Cocker? How's life up north for you?
It's good. It's I'm still doing my diet.
Oh, lovely. The diet from hell.
Yeah, a week on from when I came down to visit you.
And I plied you with incredibly unhealthy food.
You did. But it's fine now because I'm back on it. And
lovely.
I haven't deviated. So, yeah.
Ooh, yum. Imagine how much salad and baked chicken you're going to have in that time.
Oh, I know. It's going to be amazing. But I've talked enough about my salad. I have some other things for the 10-minute bullshit. And
go on then.
Firstly, I better just get this out.
Oh God, Jesus! I'd forgotten we have an actual wheel now.
Yeah, we do. And
of course we do. Why wouldn't we?
I'm a fuck not using it because assemble it for nothing.
It's like we said, Danny. You've got to write it off as a business expense. You've got to find a way to use it enough times to use it as a business expense.
Exactly.
That's why you're playing video games on Twitch and stuff. Is because then you can say, "Oh no, the Xbox One, that's a business expense." That's why, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what I'm doing on Twitch. Apparently, you need like £80 million before you can actually make some money from it. So,
what is that hyperbole, or is that just?
It's hyperbole, but the amount of shit that you need to actually be a professional Twitch streamer is it's quite a lot.
I see.
That's another story. But anyway, I'm going to spin the wheel.
Okay.
Oh shit!
Did it just fall off the side?
No, it's because I've got it precariously ledged on my table. Right, I'll spin it again. Take two, folks.
Right. Yep. TikTok, the social network that harvests your data. Yes. Oh, I do love a bit of my data being harvested.
Yeah.
It's one of them things, TikTok, where I feel like I'm just slightly too old to understand it.
Yeah.
I remember when it was Musical.ly, which I never understood. I never knew if I was saying that right. But I remember asking, it was, who was it? It was my wife's mum's friend's daughter, who was a couple of years younger than us at the time. I remember saying, what is Musical.ly? What is it? What am I supposed to, I don't understand it. And she was like, no, it's just like a thing. It's like, oh, thanks. That's really helpful. But I feel like I haven't progressed from that day.
Was she a young lad from Birmingham by any chance?
That's my go-to voice for everyone. If I'm doing an impression of you or my cat or anyone, that's the voice.
No, it's just a social media.
No, it's just a social media app. It's like that bit from Family Guy where he's doing that one-man show. Hey, there were loads of characters in my neighborhood. There was my mom. Hey, Tony, you gotta get your dinner ready. And then there was also my basketball teacher. Hey, Tony, you gonna play some more basketball? And it just does that. It's like everybody has the same voice. But anyway, yeah. TikTok, I don't get it.
No, I feel it. The only context in which the word boomer could be applied to me,
Is TikTok?
yeah, when it comes to TikTok. Chloe Davison.
Yeah, she's an active member of the TikTok community.
She is doing so well in it. She's got like 12,000 people following her. Because I was bored last night and I was thinking of stuff to do for the 10-minute bullshit. And a good coughing my lungs up here. A good patron of the show, Aditya, sent comments from Chloe's TikTok, in which the thing was it was her lip syncing the song Bulletproof.
Okay.
And above her was the caption, "Think you can hurt my feelings? I'm part of the generation of the 4 O'Clock Clubcast that after Josh left was told that the show had gone downhill." And people were then having arguments in the comments about when the best era was and when the show was going really bad. And one comment said, "Justice for Eli." So Aditya sent that in the Discord, and I was like, "Oh, let's have a look. Let's nourish my ego." And I just started looking at all these people lip syncing stuff, and I'm like, "What is there a monetary aspect of this? Do you make money from it, or do you?"
The thing that I don't particularly understand is that I don't see what the goal is with TikTok. I know that sounds very odd, but like Twitter, the goal is to convey some kind of message in 280 characters. I get that. That's the end game of Twitter. And then with Instagram, it's similar, but you also have a picture you can use. And with Facebook, it's like sharing minion memes or whatever Facebook is. I'm not even going to pretend I like Facebook. I actively try to avoid Facebook in my day-to-day.
Yeah.
I'm completely illiterate with it, to be honest with you. Like every now and then, Chloe will say to me, "Oh, I tagged you in something on Facebook." And I'll go onto the app and say, "Right, so where do I find out where you've tagged me in things?" And she has to show me every time. You go on this banner here, and then you click this, and then you click this, and then I'll look at a meme and go, "Oh yeah, good one." And then I just close the app, and it's just gone. Because I don't like Facebook. It's not good. But yeah, TikTok, I don't get the end game. Is the end game to lip sync incredibly well? Is the end game to... I don't get it. Instagram has now released a similar sort of competitory thing, hasn't it? Have you seen the Reels?
No.
Yeah, it's in my Explore page, which is really annoying because I'm there on Instagram thinking, "Oh, I'll have a look on the Explore page." Then it takes up the top sort of 80% of my Explore page is like a video of somebody doing something really confusing and weird in a 10-second long video. It's quite odd.
Yeah. I think one of the goals is to be funny on it.
Well, yeah, because that was the goal with Vine, wasn't it? Was let's be hilarious.
Yeah.
And they were hilarious. But, like, I don't know. I feel like TikTok, because the videos are longer than on Vine,
Yeah.
I think it's less, like, almost creative pressure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. 'Cause, like, if you have... How long was Vine?
I think it was 10 seconds or 6 seconds or something like that.
10 seconds or something like that. Yeah, so, like, that's a really good sort of catalyst for creativity.
Yeah, yeah.
6 seconds to be funny. And so many of them were. But TikTok seems to me that it's people, copying songs, but using them only for the amount of time where they don't get copyright strikes. and just dancing to them and lip syncing to them. I mean,
if you're having fun, then all power to you.
Yeah,
like,
if people
crikey,
like that.
I just
people
don't
like that.
get
People
it.
like, yeah, no, I don't get it either.
Right? I speak. It's like what you said about the word boomer in this context. This is the only thing I think I would refer to myself, or I would expect anybody else to refer to me as a boomer.
Yeah.
But I did hear a contentious opinion on a podcast I listened to called Triforce Podcast, which is actually made by another guy called Lewis Brindley, but that's for another day. But yeah, they were saying the microwave is a boomer appliance.
The microwave.
Yes, a boomer appliance. As in, like, oh, I just need to cook some vegetables. Let's put them in a tub and just walk away for 3 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, well, what's I don't. Well, so what is it? What is it? Millennials use then?
I don't know, the hob and and
Yeah,
fury.
but just because you use a microwave doesn't mean that you don't use the hob. It's often
Yeah, that's
that you've
true.
it's often that you've cooked something already on the hob and you've
Yeah.
got it in a wee tub, and
And you have to
rather than
reheat it in the microwave.
yeah,
Yeah.
rather than putting it back on the hob, you just go, I'll just shove it in the microwave for 3 minutes and that's me. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
You've convinced me. Maybe microwaves are not a boomer appliance. It's just like I don't know. Microwaves kind of stress me out a bit. I feel like it's something that I
What?
don't understand as well as I could. I do a lot of cooking. This is no great secret. But
Yeah.
like I understand the process of heating a pan up and thereby like searing the outside of food with heat and infusing it with heat. I understand that. But like from my high school physics class, which was like a million years ago now, but microwaves heat up tiny deposits of water on the external surface of your food.
Yeah.
And then thereby that heat is transferred through the rest of the item that's in the microwave. But like that just doesn't that's kind of stressful to me because how do you know if it's ever going to heat all the way through?
Well, it does. You do a wee mix, and then it's like, oh yeah, there's smoke, not smoke. You know what I mean? Steam or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Is it steam?
I guess it would be steam if it's heating up water and then all of a sudden you've got like a big steam
Yeah,
plume.
but you do a wee mix, and then the steam rises, and then you know that it's been cooked through.
Okay. Okay, I
It's
suppose I can kind of abide that.
normally it is 3 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. No, I mean, for me, I normally just try to avoid using a microwave for anything other than heating up
Yeah.
milk to make, say, hot chocolate or something, or for heating up leftovers. Other than that, I really tend to not use it during the cooking process,
Yeah,
just because, like,
I'd never let sort of actually use it to like make a meal. I know if that sounds that sounds elitist. Oh, he'd never use a microwave. I'd maybe use it to heat up beans and a pie.
yeah, that's a good point. Actually,
do
yeah,
that.
if I was making a baked potato, I would heat up beans.
I don't want to. I don't want to think about the implications of using a microwave. I just want to fucking use it. You know. I don't want. Oh, he'd never use it. See, I've imagined these critics in my head
And now you're furious at them.
when no one gives a shit. But yeah, God, that was a. Why is TikTok so bad? I'll tell you another thing about microwaves.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't brought anything to the bullshit table today, really. I mean, it's very rare that I do. We've had some hot days. It is now lovely. It's now cold again, and I can wear a jumper, and I'm very happy about that. I got a new keyboard. It's loud as fuck.
Oh, I can hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's loud as fuck, and I love
Nice.
it. It's a mechanical keyboard. For anybody that's interested, there is a picture on my Instagram. Go and check it out.
What's some? I'm gonna look at this now.
A mechanical keyboard, right? Prepare to fall asleep, everybody. But a mechanical, like basically your basic bitch keyboard that's like built into a laptop or that sort of thing. The kind of thing you'd get free when you bought a computer. That is called a rubber dome keyboard usually. So you'll have like a circuit board and then a big old rubber mat with like sort of little bubbles on it, like bubble wrap. Then when you press a key down, the bubble gets like depressed and it completes a circuit, and it takes the letter and like types it on the screen, sort of thing. But a mechanical keyboard, instead of having one enormous switch, has like individual distinct switches for every single key. So that's what you hear is the loud ass tapping.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, but it's really good. I like it a lot. It's little.
I gave it a like as well. What's that keyboard that sort of that streamers use?
What?
There's a specific you know how it's normally black and there's little lights from the inside.
Oh, Razer. Yeah, it's like a brand. I've got one somewhere.
Razer.
Fuck knows where.
Keyboard.
I've got a Razer Deathstroke that I bought. I think I got it for Christmas, maybe like a million Christmases ago. And I got a Razer Ouroboros, the mouse as well. They're pretty good.
So what is it does?
Well, it takes your fingers, and then by pressing buttons, you can type letters on the screen.
I know, but is it any different to normal keyboards?
Yeah, it sort of is. Basically, with a normal keyboard, you have a higher chance of, like, I think there's a word for it. It's called like rollover or something, of pressing keys next to the key you're trying to press. But when, as a mechanical keyboard, the keys are both taller and slightly further apart. So it's more rare you'll press the key next to it and stuff like that. Plus, it'll last a lot longer. It's a lot more hard wearing. And if one key breaks, you can, like, replace the switch, replace the key, replace the spring, all that sort of stuff.
So expensive.
Yeah, this one is not expensive. It's I got it second hand on eBay. I think I paid about 30 quid for it in the end. But I really, really like it. It'll last forever. What's not to love?
129 quid for a keyboard. My
Mhm.
God. Anyway, I'll probably end up buying one, won't I? any money I get, I'm getting a Razer keyboard. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it's for, but fuck it looks good. And I've got a laptop, so that doesn't make sense.
The one thing I would say about my Razer keyboard is it's fucking massive. It takes up, like, a huge portion of my desk.
Yeah.
And I'm just not about that. Like, I would just rather have a smaller keyboard, have more desk space for, like, writing things down with a pen, and then have a smaller keyboard, because that's another thing about mechanical keyboards. The keys are the same size between different sizes of keyboard, but the outside case, you can have it either bigger or smaller. Mine is a 65% size keyboard. Has 86 keys or something. I think your standard thing with, like, a number pad as well has about 104. But yeah, mine's a bit smaller. I quite like it a lot.
Yeah. Good.
Well, I'm glad we had a nice chat about microwaves, TikTok, and
keyboards.
And keyboards, yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody's still awake, can we talk about a film today?
Yeah, I think we've stated the bullshit for now.
I think we very much have. This is true.
Yeah. Well, Lewis, what film are we talking about today? Even though we've mentioned it already.
We're talking about the Death of Stalin.
Shocker. The Death of Stalin was written by Armando Iannucci, Peter Fellows, Ian Martin, Fabian Nuri, and David Schneider.
Cool.
It was directed by Armando Iannucci, and it is starring Steve Buscemi, Jason Isaacs, Simon Russell Beale, Jeffrey Tambor, Andrea Riseborough, Michael Palin, and Rupert Friend, and there's some others as well.
Yes, it stars every actor that you look at them and think, oh, I know them from somewhere, and then you can never place them. That's what every actor in this film has in common.
Yeah.
Apart from Steve Buscemi, who has a very distinctive face, you look at Jason Isaacs in this film and you think, I know him. What do I know him from? Yeah. And it takes you a long time before you think, well, Harry Potter, Star Trek. It takes you a while.
Yeah. Simon Russell Beale mainly does like theatre stuff.
Does he?
Which is pretty interesting. So I wonder
cool.
I wonder what sort of drew him to this project.
I suppose it is kind of like theatre in a strange way.
Yeah, I suppose. But anyway, opening statements.
Yes, I have an opening statement.
Good.
A bizarrely funny black comedy full of boys pretending to be in positions of power. That's the key sort of takeaway, I think, is it's these people pretending to be powerful, pretending to be, like, what's the word? Much cleverer than they are. That they're sort of children pretending to be adults in a strange way. A horrifying reality that barely stands to be watched.
Excellent. A darkly hilarious film that really strikes a precise balance of comedy and tragedy. It succeeds in finding humorous moments without making light of the atrocities that took place under Stalin's rule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was taking a sip of tea there, everyone. That's for my ASMR Twitch channel. I'm doing a recording for both of them at the same time.
That's the next thing we need to do in the bullshit. Fucking ASMR. I mean, nothing against ASMRists. Just what a fucking weird thing. But anyway, yeah. So creepy room questions. Any to start us off with?
Can you imagine living in a political landscape with that much endless scheming?
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's like Stalin dies, obviously. The film's called The Death of Stalin. It'd be quite a shocker if he didn't die. But Stalin dies, and then immediately all the members, I don't know what the technical term is, but sort of the cabinet almost, all the members of that cabinet are like
Politburo, I
scheming
think.
against each other within seconds of his death.
I think they say the Presidium, but I think it's the Politburo
Oh, okay.
and or the Central Committee.
Yeah, well, those are nice, rememberable names. They're not boring at all.
No.
They're, crikey, it's what gets me about these things is a lot of like political sort of departments in the government and stuff just have very forgettable names.
Yeah.
It's like that's what gets me. That's the most unrealistic thing about the thick of it is that the department is called DOSAC because that's such a rememberable name. It should be called something much more forgettable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The rest of it feels very realistic, but it's just so. Do you know what I mean?
I don't even know if the actual department for Department of Social Affairs and Citizenship, if it's called DOSAC or if they've just switched it around to make it sound like DOSAC.
I have no idea.
Because a lot of people get sacked and a lot of ministers get sacked in the thick of it. So I don't know if that's a thing by Ian Uche, but who knows? It is shocking, right? How much of the things that happened in this film actually happened in real life, and I'm not talking about the sort of the Great Purge and the Great Terror and stuff like that, and the disappearances and stuff like that. I'm talking about when Stalin actually collapsed in his bedroom. The scene with the two guards. They were like, "Should we investigate? Shut the fuck up before you get us both killed." The guards were too scared to go in and check, despite the fact that they'd heard suspicious noises. And his staff, the night before, were told by Stalin not to disturb him. So it was a day after that he had a stroke and died that they'd worked up the courage to go in and see, just in case, he was like, "What are you doing in here? Fuck off!"
I mean, it's not a great leadership style, is it? To terrify all of the people under you into subservience. It's not a great system.
Because they can't do anything. They can't even check to see if you have had a stroke or not. I mean, it sounds good to have absolute control over people and make them fear you, but if they're so scared of you, they would do nothing in case of, getting killed.
Yeah.
It's mental.
And it's that bit with Paddy Considine at the start, where he's like, has absolutely no idea what is going on. I have to call him back in 17 minutes. And he's like, hurrying people back in. The only reason he does any of it is because he's petrified of death.
Yeah.
It's just so morbid, isn't it?
That actually happened as well. It didn't happen the same night as Stalin dying, but it was like 1944 or something like that at Radio Moscow. Stalin heard the pianist play a solo, and he was moved by it so much that he wanted a recording, and the director had to get people in and bring the whole oh god, I've just hit my lamp there. Bring the whole orchestra back, and the pianist actually sent a note similar to the one that she sent Stalin, but it was more sort of toned down. It was more like I thank you for your aid. I will ask the Lord to forgive you. He is merciful for the sins that you've done to our country. He'll forgive you and stuff like that. And Stalin read this letter out at one of his sort of weekly sort of dinners at the Presidium, and all the members were like, "Well, we can just go get her and disappear her." But Stalin put the letter down and just didn't mention it again, and she was left alone.
Well,
which is pretty weird.
It is extremely weird, yeah.
I think it's because he liked her music so much that he just sort of, so it's like, oh, that's nice, that's quite tender. It's probably just because he liked her music, and if he killed her, then there'd be no music like that again.
Yeah, that's true.
It's pretty fucked up. But look at me, I'm a wee history expert.
No, it's one of the things about like Soviet Russia and all that sort of stuff. It's like the history is so dense
Yeah.
Like in the span of a few days or whatever, so much can happen, especially
Yes.
during like revolutions and coups and overthrowing. So much happens.
I know.
It's impossible to remember it all, but that's what this film does such a good job of sort of nailing down.
Yeah.
Was like so much can happen, and we're just sort of on the sidelines for all of it. Nobody's really instigating any of it.
No.
There are just things happening in the world.
Yeah. It's just. Oh, it's so cynical and so dark and just, but it's so funny as well. That's the thing. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy to do a really grueling sort of depiction of Stalinist Russia, but to do something like that and actually make it hilarious, it's quite a challenge, I think.
Oh god, yeah.
I think Iannucci should do other historical coups and historical periods, because he has this sort of running theme where it's like it doesn't matter where we are. It's not about Russia or Soviet Union really. It's about the incompetence of politicians and mocking authority at the end of the day.
Mm.
It's the same with the thick of it. It's like it's just these bumbling politicians trying to get through the day without cocking up. That's it. And I think that's it rings.
That's exactly what Death of Stalin is about as well. It's about this presidium that has no idea what they are doing.
Yeah.
They're like, Stalin was the only thing that unified them, and now they just happen to be brought together in this ridiculous time of crisis almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so strange. But yeah, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck would Stalin have lookalikes?
I don't know. Maybe it's because of... Ooh. It has to appear at, like, to open a supermarket or something. And he's just like, oh, I don't want to fucking do that. So he just sends out a lookalike. And I suppose, when was this? The 50s? The 60s?
Yeah, 1953.
Yeah, so people probably didn't have a great idea of what Stalin looked like. Like, cameras weren't so widespread. They've probably seen pictures of him, yeah, but they were probably grainy pictures taken from quite far away, or it was like a portrait drawn by an artist that's had a bit of license, and as long as it's a bloke with similar hair and a similar mustache, people might just not question it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He kept them in his dacha. They were just in there.
Just on the off chance that he needs them.
Yeah, when Beret's men were like raiding it and they were just sort of brought out as like lookalikes, I think the contract's up. It's like, where the fuck were they? Were they just kept in the basement? Just sort of sat there until Stalin got bored and was like, right, bring one of my lookalikes up.
Maybe it was just to confuse the staff of the household staff. Just like have them patrolling the house like on like a semi-regular basis. Then every now and then people will be like, oh shit, Stalin's coming, and then like the chef will be chopping up vegetables much more efficiently, and the cleaners will start cleaning, and then he walks around the corner. It's like, oh, he's gone, thank God.
And Stalin jumps around the corner and goes, ha ha, got you. And then the chef sort of shakes his head with his arms folded with a cheeky smile.
Oh, you.
And yeah, who else but Stalin?
I like the idea of depicting Stalin as like a mischievous prankster.
Yeah. Oh God, we should be saying that. The mass murderer reduced to.
I know. Yeah. Well, I suppose the thing is, it's better to sort of make what's the word? Talk about him in like a diminutive way and reduce the historical figure that he is, considering the appalling crimes he caused or committed. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the great thing about, especially in films like Jojo Rabbit.
I never actually saw that, you know.
Have you not?
No.
Well, we might be a bit early on, but if we do the Soviet Union, I think it's only fair that we do a comedy about Nazi Germany as well. We could do that next time if you wanted.
Yeah, sure.
It's really, really funny, and Hitler is this small boy's imaginary friend.
Of course he is.
So it's like that sounds bonkers, but it's actually just hilarious. It's so important to just mock authority, to have the ability to mock.
Yeah,
people.
100%.
It just takes their power away. You know what I mean?
SNL has built a 30-year-long
Yeah.
runtime on the back of that. But yeah, you are completely right. It's important to be able to like both mock political figures and to just say, well, no, that's bollocks. That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. Sort yourself out.
Exactly. You know Beria, the
Bald
Sanders.
head glasses.
Yes, that's him.
Yes. That's what my notes have. I don't have names apart from Khrushchev because that's the only name I recognise at all. I've got like
Yeah.
none of them except for bald with glasses know what's going on. I didn't even try to remember names. But sorry, go on.
You know how secretive he is about how he wants to replace Stalin and how like he's fake and all that.
Yeah.
You know when Stalin was on his deathbed, and all the Presidium were gathering around his bed, Beria was openly like mocking him and just walking around just saying like horrible things about him. And then Stalin woke up briefly, and then
Yeah.
Beria got down on his knees and like was kissing his hand and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then he fell asleep again. And then Beria stood up and like spat on the ground. And I'm
Yeah.
like, the real Beria didn't really know how to play the political game.
No.
If
no.
you want to take over from someone, what you don't do is, in front of all of your colleagues who want the same position, mock the glorious leader, and then when he wakes up, go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," and then as soon as he falls back asleep, spit on the floor. And that's just, I'm surprised that they didn't keep that in, because that would have been really funny, and they could have had like a caption saying, "Yeah, this actually happened." In case you were
Like in Horrible Histories.
Yeah.
Oh god, that always made me laugh when the rat and what's it, Ratus or something was his name.
Yeah.
They jump up in the corner. Yes, this actually happened and was real, and it's like about Vikings bathing in their own urine and stuff. So what?
Oh, I love Horrible Histories. It's good.
I think in a way it was a stroke of genius with the characters in this film to have them keep their own native accents. Like
Yes.
Paddy Considine speaks with that sort of gentle accent that he's got, and like Steve Buscemi speaks with an American accent, but at no point does it feel strange or weird. Or by the way, is Jason Isaacs from the North? Is that how Jason Isaacs speaks? Because I've only ever seen him as Lucius Malfoy.
I mean, he might do. I don't actually know.
He was born in Liverpool, so I suppose he was from the North.
Yeah, but that's not really a Liverpudlian accent, though, is it?
No, it's not. Although he was, I did like Jason Isaacs in this film, I have to say.
He was really funny.
It's the screen presence and the power of because it's something you wouldn't associate with him. I mean, I suppose you look at Lucius Malfoy and he has a strange sort of screen presence about him and stuff.
He's sort of a pathetic, washed-up old man by the end of the series.
Oh god, yeah.
Sort of like, "Draco, come over here, Draco," and then they just leave.
Draco, come to Papa.
Yeah, and you never see them again. They just walk away.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, that was one thing I was actually. I mean, I know we're talking about Harry Potter all of a sudden for some reason, but that was one thing I really was impressed with in Harry Potter was how, like, at the start of, was it Half-Blood Prince or something? When they're floating that Hogwarts teacher over the table, and Jason Isaacs is there, stooped over his cane, and he's like shaking, and he looks really terrified.
Oh yeah.
And he looks drawn out and ill. That was like a really impressive change from like in Philosopher's Stone when he was like this imposing figure, and it's like, ooh, that's quite good. I quite like that. And then in this, Jason Isaacs was really good as well. He played this sort of brutish, angry sort of like brusque army general, or what? It was head of the army. That was his role, wasn't it?
He was general in Zukov.
Yeah. And what got me was that bit right at the start when they introduced him, where he flung that cape off his back, and it was like all of those medals just like fly up into the air, and he's just like, "I'm here."
He wasn't even in it that much as well, but you just like he was you don't forget him really, like despite how little he was in it, like because he had such a screen presence that there was really no ignoring him. He had my favourite line of the film as well. And it's near the end when when the coup started, and Khrushchev is like, "Georgie, if you want to say something to Zukov, say it now." And Zukov goes, "Spit it out, Georgie, staging a coup here." That's my favourite line of the entire film. What's your favourite line, Lewis?
if nothing else, because it broke the tension so well, was that other Jason Isaacs line. After Bald with Glasses gets shot, Jason Isaacs goes, "Well, that's that done with then." it's just because it's such a tense thing, and they're all shouting and they're all screaming, and Bald with Glasses is like, "Don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't you dare shoot me," and all this, and like it's like, "Well, that's that done then, lads." It's just really, it's hilarious, but it's also really in character as well in a funny way. It's like, yeah, that kind of, you can see that the track of like, well, there we go then, that's the coup sorted. What's for dinner? Do you know what I mean?
I've got to say, I've got to ask you, what are your thoughts on Beria's death? Because see, when we were watching it, when I was down at yours, I was looking at your reaction, and you looked sort of horrified at this Simon Russell Beale's performances, crying, it's like, "Please don't shoot me." What were you?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I really struggle with in like horrors and stuff like that, is when people start to like cry and beg. That's the thing that I really struck, because it shows that sort of broken character in a way of like I think I'm so overexposed in a way to reading dystopias and whatever, where like Katniss Everdeen or whoever is like brutally strong to the end, sort of thing. Like if the capital kills me, the capital kills me, but I will remain silent and stoic to the end. Yeah. I'm so overexposed to that from like movies and books and stuff, that seeing Bald with Glasses die, and he's like literally, I literally, you've said his name about a dozen times, and I have no idea what's his name.
Lavrenti Beria.
Beria. Okay, right. I'm writing it down now. Beria. There we go. So when Beria dies, and it's like, it's just watching him sort of sobbing and like, "Don't shoot me, please, don't shoot me, please," because he's like, he wants to be alive. He wants to live in this world where he's this absolute monster, head of the NKVD, and he does these despicable, deplorable things, and yet he's still sad. It both humanizes him, and it shows you the sort of breaking of his character.
Yeah,
it was horrifying.
That line from The Dark Knight. It's like, in their last moments, people show you who they really are.
Yeah, and it's almost like he's a bumbling coward in a strange way.
A despicable coward. You know,
to give you another example of this thing I'm talking about the breaking of the character and all that, was I've just finished reading the first Hunger Games book for the first time, which is why I'm referencing it so heavily. But when it comes down to the end of I'm sure you've read the books or seen the films or something, Christ. But like, by the end of the first book, it comes down essentially to the three of them in the arena, Katniss and Peter, and then this other one, Cato, who's from District 1 or District 2, and he's like a Korea tribute. The idea is that he's like big and strong, and the whole way through the book, he's displayed as this sort of ferocious animal of like, he will get you, snap your neck, and move on to the next person without a second's hesitation. That's just this brutal monster that he is. And like, at the end of the book, Katniss and Peter are sat on top of the cornucopia, and inside of the cornucopia, sort of underneath them, Cato is being like killed by these wolf creatures that are like sort of hate him because they used to be the tributes that he has killed in the games.
Yeah.
And like Katniss is, because the book is from her point of view, so it's her internal monologue of like, you can hear him dying, you can hear him begging for mercy, you can hear him like, it's another thing. The only thing I'm squeamish about is when people talk about like wet squelches of like of blood and stuff like that, and then right at the moment of his death, she sort of dangles herself off the front of the cornucopia and looks in to find him, and then shoots him as like a mercy killing. And like, there's this moment where the sentence is something like, he looks at me, and with what's left of his mouth, he tries to say something. It's hard for me to understand, but I think he's saying please. And it's like, it's that sort of utter breaking of a character in that utter terror and pain, and that's what I see in Beria here, as well as in that character in the Hunger Games. And that it's just like, it's something I'm almost squeamish about.
Yeah.
I struggle to view it in a film. I struggle to read it in a book. So yes, very good performance from this guy. It's Christ knows it's better than anything I could even ever hope to do. But good lord, it's like, it's just that almost, because you almost start to pity him.
Yeah,
in a strange way. And it's like, no, he's a monster. I shouldn't be pitying
yeah.
him.
Throughout the
I
film,
should want him to die. But
he's like the most powerful character in the entire film. He knows exactly what's going on, and then by the end, he's a sobbing wreck who's
exactly, yeah.
just a, because that's the sad truth. It's like no matter how big the dictator is, no matter how much power you have, it's like at the end of the day, we're all just scared people who don't want to die. Essentially, that's one horrifying truth that unites us.
Lovely.
But anyway, speaking of Hunger Games, Katniss and
Yes.
and Peter, would you say that they worked as a team?
Oh, fuck. Yes, I would say that Katniss and Peter worked as a team, yeah.
Maybe an intergalactic dream team.
Fuck me. Go on, it's your turn this week. I want to hear all about it.
Boo! That's the intro music, folks. Copyright.
Copyright, Lewis Brindley, 2020. All the profits go to me. Not to Danny. I will not be sharing.
No. Well, that's not very Soviet of you. But anyway, my first hero. You get a pen. You get.
I do now.
Right. Got a pen.
Yep.
Is a medieval catapult expert.
Right.
My second hero is a leper with a cold.
Right.
My third hero is Eric Cartman from South Park.
Right.
My fourth is the annoying orange.
I can't help but feel that these past three have been projectiles.
My fifth is the Go Compare guy.
Fuck me.
And the big bad are the Martians from H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds.
Right.
And the ship is an RV. You got that?
Martians, War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
And the ship is what, an RV?
Yeah.
Just like a standard RV.
Just a standard RV to get us around.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so the Martians crash to Earth, as they do in the books through their cylinders.
Right.
Say books, book. And our five gang of heroic heroes are driving in the RV to the crash site, to try and contain it right away before they start spreading out and just conquering the place. So by the time they get there, 2 fighting machines have been built, 2 tripods have been built. It's a long drive. So my plan is this. Okay. Eric, the annoying orange, and the Go Compare guy get out. They sort of wave at the Martians, being as annoying as possible.
Ah, yeah.
Eric's like, "Come on, Martians, you pieces of shit," like that, and the annoying orange is like, "Ha ha ha ha," that laugh that he does, and the Go Compare guy's like, "Go Compare," like that. I definitely didn't put these 3 people in just so I could do a 10 years impression of them. But so the Martians are like, whoa, what the fuck's that? Who are they? And then they look at them for a wee bit and they're like, Jesus Christ, they're so annoying, let's get them. And the Martians start walking over and start shooting at them with a heat rays. And as we all know, the annoying orange is a really good dodger. So he's like, ha, like that. And he's like, go compare, piece of shit, like that. So they're fighting.
Right. They're fighting. I can't imagine they'd be able to put up much of a fight against these enormous Martians.
Well, they're not fighting. They're just sort of dodging the heat rays and just annoying the fuck out of them. So then, the medieval catapult expert gets out with the leper. They've got the materials in the RV, and he basically quickly assembles a catapult.
From a flat pack.
Yeah, a flat pack, a prefab.
Is it an IKEA branded catapult?
I don't know. He's not very into brands. He's a communist. And
Right.
the leper's like that. That's the noise he makes. And the catapult expert's like, get in! And the leper's like, okay. So he hops in,
Right.
straps himself with a bit of rope. No, wait, that wouldn't make sense. No, he just gets in, and he just sits there, and the medieval catapult expert aims it at the head of the tripod, and then goes, "Ah!" and launches it.
Right.
And the leper's like, "Ah!" like that. See how I simulate?
Are we presuming that the leper wants to die?
We're presuming that the leper will do whatever the fuck I say he does in order to win this thing. So the leper crashes through the eyeball of the tripod.
What is the leper made of?
Well, the force of him would crash through it. It's not
Okay.
like he's aimed at it that things have like two big eyes and they're like made of sort of like glass almost, so
Okay.
Martians can see. So he crashes through and he starts like kissing the Martians. He starts going mwah, 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 and sneezes all over them, and then the Martians are like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And they kill the leper, and the other three are still annoying the Martians, and eventually they get killed, and it's the medieval catapult expert. But by then, the damage is done, and
The Martians are infected.
the Martians are wiped out by the leper's disease and cold. And that is not bullshit, because in the book,
Yeah, it's what happens in the book, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
So it just happens sooner because they've had a leper kissing them. So there you go. I win. Haha.
Right. Okay. I've got some questions.
Go on.
The medieval catapult expert.
Yep.
Is the catapult medieval, or is the man medieval?
Both.
Both. Okay. How are you going to explain to a man from the Middle Ages what Martians are?
I don't. I just say they're demons.
They are demons from hell.
They're demons from France. So just go.
The demons from France. Right. Okay. And he just accepts that at face. How are you going to get an interpreter to interpret the medieval language that he speaks?
What do you mean the medieval language? Listen.
Because of the evolution of language, nobody's going to understand him.
We've got Eric Cartman, the annoying orange, and the Go Compare guy. The big question is, well, how are you going to understand the medieval dialect?
Well, another big question. Why
So
is
if I got a Klingon character, all the other characters that I have to speak Klingon. Is that what we're doing now?
No, I don't think they have to, but I think it would be convenient. Either the Klingon has to speak English, or they all have to speak some kind of common language that they can communicate in.
Well, all the medieval guy has been told, and one of them has researched this, how to say it, right? Just say, see that big thing? Point at it and shoot. Okay? Put the leper in it and shoot at it. That's it.
Okay,
And his instincts will be, okay, what can I do here against these huge big things? Oh wait, I'm a medieval catapult expert, so I'll just.
And there's a medieval catapult flat pack in the back here.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Why did you go with a catapult and not a trebuchet?
I don't know. I didn't know what trebuchet was. No, I do know actually. It's the one where it's sort of like it is like a catapult, but it goes much faster, doesn't it?
Yeah, trebuchets are superior in the physics, because I'm concerned that with a catapult, the leper would just smear on the glass like a bug on a windscreen. I'm concerned he wouldn't go through the glass.
No, he would go through.
How do you know?
Because he did a sort of Tom Daly sort of dive, and just sort of launched like a bullet towards it, so his head was really fractured and like just broken essentially. But he managed.
Did he do that thing with that Moriarty did in Sherlock, where he like stuck a piece of gum on his head and then put a diamond on the gum, so that when he's going to angle himself perfectly towards the window and smash it perfectly?
Yeah, but even
right,
if,
okay.
Even if he got splattered on the outside, the disease would still get to the Martians.
But is the idea of the glass not that it's like perfectly impenetrable? Not perfectly impenetrable, but it's like airtight?
Nope, because the Martians die anyway inside their machines.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
even if all my guys failed, right? The Martians would continue to eat human beings
Until they got a cold and died.
until they got a cold and died. So I went.
Yeah, but that's essentially just like saying, okay, well, my villain is a man with a gun pointing at his head, and the gun's on a 5-minute timer. So if I just wait in a bush, do you know what I mean?
Listen, I didn't write War of the Worlds, right? If I did, I certainly wouldn't have made it as easy as fucking. Oh yeah, they got a cold and they're all dead. You know what I mean, and if I was going to do that, I would make it more sort of heavily hinted at, and I would probably make it a comedy.
Okay.
So all the horror and all that, and then they die from a cold. That would be quite funny. So, you can't blame me for H.G. Wells' laziness.
Yes, that's the way I would describe a man who wrote a book. Lazy. That's the word I'd go for.
Lazy bastard.
Good lord. Well, I mean, I can't really fault it, apart from the fact I would have used a trebuchet, and I think I would have used a modern man to assemble the cat. Or just a big old gun.
Cannon. Yeah, or I could have just got Iron Man and destroyed all the Martians.
Yeah, you could have done, but you didn't. And I would have used a modern guy, because then he could have done it with, like, I don't know, a power drill or something, and assembled the trebuchet with that. Because then that would be much quicker than a medieval catapult expert. And he's like, oh, I have to fashion a rudimentary medieval spanner out of this tree. And he's then chopping down a tree with his hands, trying to snap the branch off a tree. The Martians are there. Yeah, exactly. It's like Minecraft.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, the only reason I chose the other three was to do impressions of them, and I didn't even do that many impressions of them. So, yeah.
Do you want another go now? To impress all of the voice acting agencies that are listening to this podcast.
Yeah, all you guys. What's the line that Eric Cartman says? That film has warped my fragile little man. There you go.
Okay, and Annoying Orange?
Hey, Apple. Hey, Apple.
And the Go Compare guy?
Wait a minute. Hey, Apple. Hey, Apple! Orange, you glad I didn't say apple again? Yeah. There we go. And
right, and the Go Compare guy?
Go compare. La la la. There you go.
What the fuck is my life?
Well, you've got a lot to live up to for the next week.
Do I also have to do impressions? Because I really don't want to.
No, you don't have to do impressions. I mean, you can if you want.
Thank the Lord for that. No, I don't want.
It's entirely up to you. You get full autonomy over your dream team.
Right.
We're gonna.
Okay.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, we're gonna run out of people to do because I'm fucking struggling here to think of something. So I have to come up with the most ridiculous plan that stacks it completely in my favour, whether the plan fails or succeeds. That's the only way I could possibly go with it. We're running out of people. We might just have to fucking say, yeah, that's all the dream teams are dead. They've been spent by superior minds, and yeah, that's the end of that. That's that.
In that case, why don't we say, okay, we can use characters again that we've used in previous dream teams, but just don't repeat them within your team.
Right.
So you can't just say, right, I have 5 Iron Man clones. Do you know what I mean? But like, we've used Batman before, and you know what I mean?
I have 5 Dr. Manhattans. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. We'll do that. But anyway, team, worker co-ops, Soviet Union. Perfect.
Flawless segue there, Dan.
Yeah, definitely. Have you seen some of the deleted scenes for this film?
No.
They are dark as shit, I tell you.
God, really?
They make it more obvious that Beria is a rapist, which is, I think, why they sort of took it out, because I think that was watching it, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's really quite harrowing. I'm glad that they sort of didn't do that, because I think that would have soiled the tone of the film, where you know that he's a monster without actually having to show it, which I think is a bit more sort of tasteful. But yeah, fucking hell, what a fucking monster Beria was.
Oh god, yeah.
Do you know what Stalin called Beria?
No.
My Himmler.
Bloody hell.
I know.
Bloody hell. As much as Soviet Russia is interesting, it's difficult to think about it for an extended period of time, because then you just get sad.
Yeah.
As time goes on, you're like, God, everybody was just horrible.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
No, it's not. It's the opposite of nice.
Yeah, after we finish this podcast, I'm going to go and sit in the other room with my cat and like, cheer me up, Monica.
Cat's just going to ignore you.
The cat will just open its mouth slowly, and the Soviet national anthem will just play out of my cat's mouth. My cat, which is of course a Russian spy.
Oh, KGB. Khrushchev was like the most unlikely guy to ever make a power grab.
Oh god, yeah.
Like
it's not until the third act that he starts showing any kind of desire to be in power. That's the thing.
Yeah, like the only reason that Stalin sort of kept him around was because he was funny.
Yeah.
And like he was a sort of joker and a sort of guy that just used to make Stalin laugh. And that thing with the jokes, where he went home and got his wife to write down all the jokes that he said and cross out the ones that didn't get a laugh. That's absolutely true.
That is just insane.
It's very clever. You would do that.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know if I would. I'm a dumbass. But like, if I was clever enough, I would do it. But yeah.
Lewis would just be like, Jesus Christ, your moustache is shit, mate.
Do you want me to get you some beard oil?
I think it's really funny that Stalin is portrayed by like a Cockney.
I know exactly what you mean.
Like, because he was from Georgia, and he had like a really sort of thick Georgian accent.
Sure.
And like Cockney is sort of associated with like, I don't want to insult anyone who has a Cockney accent, but you know what I mean. That sort of Phil Mitchell sort of alright geezer kind of hard kind of thing. And that's what Stalin was at the end of the day. He was a thug who just sort of wasn't really intelligent, just bullied people. And
yeah, a paranoid, thuggish bully.
Yeah, that's what he was. And to have that sort of portrayed in the accent is pretty clever, I think. And it fits. It fits, like you were saying, with the whole native accent thing, because the Soviet Union was like huge, and it had so many countries, and the fact that they had all different accents sort of like mirrored how diverse the Soviet Union was and how many different people there were, which is again quite fitting, I think.
That is what gets me about the sheer scale of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
It's insane. Absolutely insane. It covers such an enormous portion of the planet.
I know. And yet it was like so empty.
Yeah.
It's like fucking. It was so like there was just huge swathes of Siberian tundra that you were just sent to, like just empty. God, it's hard to think about it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's like
It's
anyway.
So many people died under Stalin's rule, and his famous quote, "One death is a tragedy, and 1,000,000 deaths is a statistic." That's so true, because it's impossible to think of just the sheer number of people that were killed.
Yeah, and it sort of dehumanizes it as well.
Yeah.
In a way, if you say a million people have died, it stops becoming each of those people had a family and starts becoming, God, 1,000,000 people? That's a lot. And then it just becomes less understandable in a way.
Yeah.
Because humans have no real way to contextualize what 1,000,000 is, or even what 1,000,000,000 is. Like, if you say to someone, oh, there's 100 of something, they sort of can understand, okay, well, I've seen 100 of something before.
Yeah.
It's a conceivable number, like 100 pieces of dry pasta. You can sort of consider what that is. And 1,000, maybe you could do that too. But then like 1,000,000?
million.
You just couldn't. That's too much.
That's too much. And it's like it goes just so much further beyond that as well. What's the sort of end number?
I think I was once you get beyond a trillion, then it becomes like sort of theoretical in a way, because in theory there aren't really enough things in the world for there to be more than a trillion of them.
Because theoretically you could just count forever.
Yeah.
Like,
but then you start getting into the more philosophical aspects of maths and things like how there are different, like the infinite sequence of numbers between 0 and 1 is half the size of the infinite sequence of numbers between 0 and 2.
Yeah.
Even though they are both countably infinite sets of numbers.
Yeah.
And then you start doing theoretical maths and stuff, where there's this symbol, aleph null, meaning a countably infinite set of numbers which is just integers, which it becomes very confusing.
Could you do like 0.1, 0.2, and you could just do 0.
11, 0.12, 0, and it just goes on. Goes on.
Jesus Christ. Fuck's sake, that's really messed with my head a wee bit. Like, couldn't you do like quadrillion and pentillion and
Don't get me wrong, you could, but those numbers are sort of like theoretical in a sense.
Yeah.
Like there's just not enough things for there to be that many things.
Yeah. That's weird. Fucking hell. What? We never stick to the same topic, do we? Now we're fucking talking about maths.
Yeah, we're talking about bizarre theoretical maths, yeah. Anyway, have you got any more CRQs or anything, Cocker? I've just got stuff like, fucking hell, this is weird. God, this is chaotic. God, the coup's intense. I've got lots of bits like that, but nothing else that really springs to mind.
I love the funeral scene.
Oh, God, yeah, when he tries to... Steve Buscemi tries to move in front of that guy. He just like, steps out, moves round. What the fuck are you doing?
You can make it look like it's part of the ceremony. And he just goes, the music's playing, and he stands up. What the fuck are you doing? It's so fucking hilarious. Rushed or not rushed, Lewis?
Oh, the curtains?
Yeah.
I honestly can say that I don't devote enough of my time to curtains to really know the difference. Which one? Ruched is that the one with the scrunched up fabric?
I mean, they look exactly the same.
I've googled it. Ruched dresses, ruched clothing. This is a thing apparently. Elegant ruched curtains in tight elastic folds. Okay.
Oh.
Ruched and not ruched.
Ruched, not ruched. Ruched.
1 or 2. 1 or 2.
Would you stop with this? Why do you think I care?
That's another thing that got me about Steve Buscemi's character was that sort of forced unanimous decisions in what was it called? The Presidium, was that
it? Yeah.
And we are all in favour. Yes, thank you very much.
Carried unanimously. Okay. Just keep waiting for them to put that in. And Steve Buscemi's the last one. He just goes, just puts his hand up as if to say, "Oh fuck it." That's hilarious. I like it. So funny. Really, really, really funny film.
Oh, totally, yeah.
But I think I am out of notes.
I believe I am also out of notes.
Yes.
Have you got a closing statement then, Cocker?
I do. Hilarity and belly laughing at one of the most disgusting regimes in history. It's important to mock the monstrous as it takes away its power.
Couldn't agree more. Really scares you looking at the horror behind the political machinations in the Soviet Union. Is all politics sort of like this? People with no clue just making it up as they go along? Terrifying!
Very much so.
The thing that really gets me about this film, the two sort of things that stuck with me was like the people not knowing what they were doing, people making it up as they go along, and also like people's utter disregard for human life.
Yeah.
Like when Khrushchev has that bit, Steve Buscemi's character, Khrushchev, right?
Yeah. When
he has that bit where he's well, open up all the trains again, see how his goons like that. It's like he has no consideration for the citizens that are travelling to Moscow to attend the funeral of Stalin.
Exactly.
It's just like, well, see how they're like that.
Yeah, it's just a chess move.
Exactly. Yeah. It's super horrifying.
Yeah, it's horrifying. But anyway, that was the death of Stalin.
Indeed, it was.
Yeah, it's a very good film. It's very funny.
It is a very good film. I'd recommend it to a lot of people. If you have not watched it while you're listening to this podcast, but make sure you do go and watch it. It's really good.
You know, it's banned in Russia.
I am not at all surprised by that. That makes perfect sense to me.
There was a radio sort of altercation where two people were talking about the film, and for some reason they ended up talking about whether it was Stalin that won the Second World War or the Soviet people.
Right.
And the argument got so heated that they started fighting, properly beating each other up in the studio.
My God.
And the Russian government was just like, "Oh well, if that can happen to them, it can happen to anyone. We should just ban it," and they just banned it.
Well, ain't that good? Censorship.
Yeah.
What's not to love about censorship?
I mean, it sounds. That's the fucking sequel, Death of Stalin Part 2.
Death of freedom of speech.
Yeah. But anyway,
Putin has won 300% of the vote in an unprecedented landslide victory. Has he now? Good for him.
God, he must be.
That episode of
God, he must be liked.
Was it Blackadder where it's like, and coming in fourth is such and such with 3 votes. Second is with such and such with 20 votes, and coming in first is Mr. Blackadder with 300,000 votes, or something ridiculous like that. It's like, and the county has like 10 people in it, or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. That it would be the start of a bad joke if it wasn't so fucking horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we're going off in one. But anyway, we've got some anti-Soviet capitalist shilling to do, don't we?
Yes, we have some anti-communist shilling to do.
So the Goleg.
Indeed. Danny, are you on social media or anything, Cocker?
I am. I am on Instagram at O'Hiram. I'm on Facebook at Daniel K. Actor. And I'm on Twitter at Kenya2000.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I'm on Instagram at Lewis_Brindley. I'm on Twitter at LewisBrindley4. And I have a Facebook page called Lewis Brindley.
Yes. Yeah. We are partner. I think it's your turn to edit this week, isn't it?
It is my turn to edit this week. We are partnered with a company which has a superb product which we really think is super duper cool. Strudels, where they make pasta straws. Because let's think about it. Straws made of plastic, going to kill like 1 million sea turtles. Straws made of pasta, not going to kill any sea turtles. So check that shit out. We have a superb advert which will be airing now. Hey Dan, do you ever drink things?
No, actually, I don't.
Right, well that's messed the ad up then, hasn't it? Oh, good grief. Well, if you're not a massive weirdo, then you might like to drink things from time to time, and sometimes you might even like to use a straw.
Yeah, and there are lots of options available. I've got a metal one, and they come in plastic.
Bad for the environment.
Or paper.
Falls apart immediately.
Yep, which is why strudels are out there. Strudels are straws made out of pasta, and straight away both of those problems Lewis just said are solved. The pasta will decompose in a day after you throw it away, and they'll stay strong in your drink for at least an hour.
Exactly, what's not to love? Plus they're super convenient. Having a couple of them in the cupboard will mean you don't have to keep cleaning a metal straw every time you do the dishes.
Indeed it will. Check them out today at strudels.co.uk. You will not regret it.
Oh, beautiful.
Amazing.
Oh, beautiful. I really like that very much.
Amazing.
Absolutely stunning.
It's better every time I hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. We are on Podomatic. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We have a YouTube channel.
We're also on Amazon Podcasts now.
We are. And
which is now a thing, apparently.
Yes.
I got an email from him saying, hey, Amazon Podcasts a thing. I was like, oh, bloody hell. I'll sign up for that then.
I'm going to write that in my list. Just right here. Amazon Podcast. Yep, you'll hear me say that from now on. We're on Deezer. We're on Google Podcasts. We have a PayPal donate button. We're on Patreon, and we want to thank our wonderful patrons.
Yeah, we've had a new patron as well.
We have.
Which is very much cause for celebration.
Very much so. Chloe, Darius, Sophie, Peter, Aditya, and our newcomer, Richard.
Yes, thank you very much, one and all. It means the world that you are supporting us. We would not be able to make the podcast without you.
Certainly not. We also have merchandise.
We do. Fair old lot of it, don't we?
Yep, we sell mugs and t-shirts and all sorts of shite.
Do you feel like you need more shite in your life? Check out our merch store. No, we've got mugs, totes, t-shirts, jumpers, fucking anything. Can you think of it? We've got it with our faces on it.
Yeah.
Well, not with our faces on it. But, go and check it out. Links will be in the description. We're on Teespring, Redbubble. The link will be in the description or the show notes. Or wherever you're listening to this, they'll be within arm's reach.
Definitely. We are also partnered with another fantastic company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue.
Indeed, we are.
We are. Lewis has got numerous glorified and amazing adjectives to use to help you sway you over to this wonderful company. Take it away.
What a laboured intro, good lord. But yes, Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a company run by my incredible wife. She crochets and she's really fucking good at it. It's essentially, she makes things to order, or she'll also do things just for members of the family, stuff like that. The Instagram account is Number 12 Crochet Avenue. All letters, there's no numbers. Number 12 Crochet Avenue. Go and check it out. The Instagram feed is Chef Kissing His Fingers. Is that. And she also makes absolutely stunning products. She's sold a couple to our patrons. She's been making a couple of different bits here and there. And now we're in the new house. She's got a dedicated crochet room, which is very exciting. I think the cat is in there at the moment, as I'm recording. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, go and check out the Instagram feed. And if you like what she does, consider checking an order in. She's absolutely amazing. I know I'm biased, but it's the truth. Check it out.
I'm not biased.
At Number 12 Crochet Avenue.
I'm not biased. I hate them both, and I think it's fantastic. Anyway, that's us, I think.
Indeed it is.
We sort of are you happy to do Jojo Rabbit next week?
Yeah, I'll give it a cheeky go.
Sort of sticks with the theme, I think.
Of what? Totalitarianism?
Yeah, comedy in autocratic totalitarian country.
Ah, lovely, yes.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much for watching, listening, licking, whatever.
However you're absorbing this podcast,
yes.
Thank you for doing such a thing.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it means the world. I get emails every week with our listener numbers on it, and I always think, oh yeah, it's gone up. Oh yeah, it's good. It's stayed the same. Whatever. I always get dead excited. So I do see all the listens. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, and we shall see you, smell you, put you in the gulag next week.
Indeed we will. We'll see you then.
Goodbye.
Bye.